Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. I'm David, your host, and today I'm going to give you guys my performance review on the EQLZ 24/7. Now, if you guys don't know who EQLZ are, EQLZ is short for Equalizer, and it is a shoe company founded by a former Nike shoe designer, Aaron Cooper, who was very famous for designing shoes for Charles Barkley, Kevin Garnett, Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, and the list goes on and on and on. So I found out about these and I wanted to see what these felt like for myself and see if they were any good in terms of overall performance, in my opinion. And now that I got them, here is what I think of them. Firstly, when it came to the trying experience, it was very weird to say the least, because it has this really elastic liner that you get on the very top, and you have to treat it like you're putting on a sock and putting on a shoe at the same time. So it's kind of like a two-step process when putting on this shoe. And once you get used to it, it is pretty straightforward at the end of the day. So it is kind of annoying to deal with, but after a while, it does start to break in over time and it is easier to put them on. And as far as sizing is concerned, I would go down half a size because of how forgiving the overall shoe is in general. So be mindful of that when it comes to the sizing, and I will strongly affect the lockdown, which I will talk about a little later in the video. But as far as sizing is concerned, I would go down half a size to get a nice 1-to-1 fit in the forefoot. Don't have any dead space in the toe box when I did that, so it was overall a pretty nice fit when it came down to going down half a size for me. So because of that, for narrow footers, I would probably go down a full size in that case to get that overall 1-to-1 fit. For wide footers, you should be good to go ordering your true size because it is very accommodating, and the material does break in over time and it expands inside the shoe. So if you're a wide footer, go true to size. And if you guys are interested, they are available on EQLZ website for $150, and it has multiple colorways. So if you guys are interested in this colorway or any other colorways, I will leave a link in the description box below. Now, for the traction pattern itself, you're getting this full-length rubber outsole with this wavy traction pattern that you get throughout the outer rim of the outsole. And for the core of the outsole itself, you're going to get this foot mapping of the bunch of shark fins that you get throughout the outsole, and they look nearly similar to the Nike Kobe 9's outsole, in my opinion, when it comes to the foot mapping aspect that you get in this outsole. And as far as the grip level is concerned, they are grippy with a little bit of give, so that it doesn't feel too violent. And as a result of that, for lateral movements, they felt really good, and it was very consistent grip going side to side, so I didn't experience any sliding in that front. And the same goes for the vertical movements. The hard stops felt really good under your foot, as well as the first steps. You're able to get a nice launch off of your first steps. So lateral movements and vertical movements, it was fairly consistent when it came down to those kinds of movements. As far as dusty courts, it does pick up some dust. However, it doesn't really affect the overall performance of the outsole itself due to the deep channels that you get of tread from the shark fins that you get. And whatever buildup of dust that you got, it was very easy to wipe off. So if you ever got the chance to wipe it down, feel free to do so, and you should be just fine overall when you're playing on a dusty court. For durability, it's decent, but not great from the looks of it. The first signs of wear you're going to experience are in the high wear areas, especially on the outer rim of the outsole itself. And as you get into the wavy patterns, it does start to wear off a little bit in the forefoot, and you're going to see a little bit of wear in the shark fin patterns itself. So in the short term, you should be fine playing in these outdoors because of the deep grooves that you get from the shark fin pattern itself. But in the long run, it will start to wear out because of how soft the rubber is in general. So in that case, if you want to keep these in the long run, I would keep these indoors to maintain the life of the outsole itself. So for short-term use, you should be good to go outdoors, but for long-term use, keep them indoors to maintain the life of it. And overall, when it comes to overall traction performance, it's very good and very consistent as well. Now, moving over into the cushioning setup, it is pretty basic overall. The entire midsole is made out of Pebex supercritical foam. And when it comes to forefoot cushioning, it has a nice responsive feel underfoot, which is surprising considering that they look kind of bulky in my opinion, but in hand they feel really light, and that feeling carried over when I was playing in them. And it also has a very nice bounce as well. It's a nice subtle bounce, and you're going to get it from the plastic rails that you get on the lateral and medial sides, and it acts like a springboard, and it gives the shoe some rigidity. That way it gives you a nice pop under your foot. That way you're able to launch yourself off of the ground. So it is fairly responsive and fairly bouncy when it comes to the overall forefoot cushioning. When you move to the heel, to me they felt just good overall in my opinion. They are comfortable, but they feel a little firm in the heel overall, and in my opinion it doesn't feel that mushy underfoot. It has the right amount of give and the right amount of compression to pass as comfortable to me. me. And overall, the impact protection felt really solid overall. And when it came down to heel strikes, it was very good when it came to the overall blunt force trauma that my heel got overall when I was doing heel strikes. For fluidity, they're surprisingly fluid considering how bulky the shoe looks, and overall the overall heel to toe transitions felt very seamless and smooth. And with the extra rigidity that you get from the plastic rails, it gives you a really nice spring to your step. That way you're able to go up and down the court fairly easily and fairly light-footed overall when it comes to the overall feeling that you get under your foot. So it was a surprising shoe to play in when it comes to the overall cushioning. The overall cushioning itself when it comes to the forefoot has a nice responsive feel and a decent bounce. Heel cushioning is pretty good overall, but just middle of the road, and the overall fluidity is pretty good, and it passes as overall a fairly good cushioning setup in my opinion. Now, getting into the materials, this is where it gets very interesting when it comes to the overall material choice. For the materials overall, you get really nice knitted material in the forefoot, and it extends into the midfoot, and it transitions to this very stretchy elastic material that you get in the heel, and you get this overall one-piece booty construction that you get from the elastic material itself. And the entire shoe is wrapped in this really nice leather material in the heel, and it goes all the way into the midfoot and all the way into the toe box area. And as far as comfort goes, they are extremely comfortable on foot. It does require a little bit of break-in, and once it breaks in, it feels really nice and buttery on foot. So there is really good flexibility here in the forefoot, and I didn't experience any pinching there, and didn't get any pinching or lace irritation in the midfoot. Even though there is no padding, you just get this elastic material overall, and you get more elastic material that wraps around your ankle, and it feels like you're putting on a sock, like an extra pair of socks. And you also get some decent padding here in the heel with a little Achilles pads that you get on the heel area with this leather backing piece, which adds to the overall like comfort factor overall. And as far as aesthetics go, it carries interesting look in my opinion, and it carries design cues from the Air Pippin 2s and a little bit of the LeBron Soldier 14s with the plastic rails that you get on the lateral and medial sides. It looks like a spitting image of those shoes. And it looks really nice overall, but I don't like how they get scuffed really easily, and it gives it that shiny splodge when you scuff it. So it's going to look really nasty as you keep wearing it down and you scuff it a little more, and it's just going to look a little weird. But the rest of the shoe I really like. The leather material feels really nice and premium on hand, as well as the woven knit material that you get combined with the elastic material gives it a nice, sleek, futuristic look in my opinion. And it does a nice job of adding modern materials to past design cues with overall look that you get. And it is a really nice step in the right direction in my opinion when it comes to blending the old and in with the new as well. And it is a very nice take on it, and I like overall how it feels and how it looks as well. Now, in terms of the lockdown to me, it solely relies on the fit of the shoe itself. So if you want to buy these shoes specifically, make sure you get the right size, and make sure that you get it in the right size, because if you don't, it's going to result in a bunch of issues like sliding in the forefoot, and you're going to experience some heel slippage in the heel as well. And if you do, it is fantastic in my opinion. In the forefoot, you pretty much get a nice one-to-one fit, so you won't experience any movement going side to side and going up and down, so your foot won't slide forward when you're doing hard stops especially. So pretty much really good one-to-one fit in the forefoot. And when it comes to the midfoot, the lacing system is integrated within the knitted materials, so it wraps really nice and really well, and it's basically an overall one-to-one snug fit and feels like you're one with the shoe in my opinion, and you don't move around at all when you're playing in these. In the heel, the elastic material wraps around your foot and around the ankle, basically feeling like an extra pair of socks. So you pretty much contain the moment you slide your foot inside the shoe, and I didn't experience any heel slippage when I was playing in these. You do experience it a little bit in the beginning, but as you break it in, it just sucks it into place, and it is overall a nice containing one-to-one fit from the front all the way to the back. It is fairly seamless when it comes to the overall lockdown, and one of the best that you're going to get in my opinion. And it was very solid overall once you break in the overall materials and you get the nice one-to-one fit, and you're going to have really solid lockdown from the forefoot all the way into the heel. And last but not least, when it comes to the overall support, it is robust to say the least in my opinion. For lateral support, it is very good. You sit within the midsole, creating this nice bulge from the midsole along with the plastic rail, as well as the leather backing that you get in the forefoot to give you that really nice containment. That way the material doesn't give out going side to side, and it continues as you go into the midfoot, keeping the midfoot really nice and contained. And lastly, the support system is basically maximalized in the heel with the bulk of the rail, as well as the leather cradling the heel, as well as the internal TPU heel counter. It helps contain the heel as well, so you're going to be really nice and contained when it comes to the overall support system that you get with the rail, the midsole bulge, and the leather. It's just pretty much a 3-on-1 experience when it comes to the lateral support, and it is really well done in my opinion when it comes to the lateral support. And when you move into the torsional support, it is really good and really rigid with the plastic rails that you get on the lateral and medial side. It makes the shoe very solid and very rigid, and I found it very hard to contort the shoe overall. So you're going to be really good when it comes to torsional rigidity in the shoe, and it gives you really great balance as a result of that. And for the outsole itself, it is nice and flat, and it's weird to say, but the more pressure that you put on the outsole, the flatter it becomes, and it is a really nice feeling under your foot, and it is very, very assuring in my opinion when you are planting your foot, and you're going to have really nice flat outsole overall. So you're going to have really nice support when it comes to the base, and the more pressure you put on it, the better it becomes. So it was a very nice experience when it comes to the overall package that you get for support. Laterally, it's a 3-on-1 with the rail, midsole bulge, and the leather, and the overall torsional rigidity and base support is pretty much top notch in my opinion, and it is by far one of the best support systems that you can get in a shoe, and it is very well done when it comes to the overall structure of the shoe, and it is very solid and very balanced as well. So to sum it up for you guys, this is a really solid basketball shoe in my opinion. The traction is very good and very consistent. As long as you keep it indoors, you should be good to go. The cushioning just gets the job done in my opinion. It has a nice responsiveness, a decent bounce, and decent impact protection when it comes to the heel cushioning too. But the materials overall are very nice and very premium, and is overall very comfortable at the end of the day. And the lockdown, as long as you get the right size, it is very good from front to back. And the overall support, the features that you get is very robust, and it is very maximalist when it comes to overall support overall. A couple of nitpicks is the elastic material. I don't like the two-step process that you have to go through when you put on the shoe. It's like putting on a sock and putting on the shoe at the same time, so it was kind of annoying to deal with. And the scuff marks that you get on the plastic rails that you get has that shiny sheen, and it will look ugly over time as you keep wearing it down. But outside of that, for $150, it is worth the experience to try these out with the overall package that you get with the materials, the cushion, as well as the traction pattern itself. It's worth a try and worth the experience overall. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been my performance review on the EQLZ 24/7s. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below on what you think of these, if you've tried them, and what was your experience of these. I'd like to know your thoughts, as well as any other questions that you might have. If you'd like to stay up to date with future videos that I'll be posting, hit the subscribe button down below, and it'll greatly support the channel as well. If you'd like to stay in touch with me via social media, all of that information will be in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys, and until next time, keep shooting.